Okay, let's talk about 3 ways to curl hair. So the first one we see most often these days, and what I'll show you is when we take a section, we're going to put it around the curling iron in the middle, but then we're going to untwist it. I call this the untwist curl. So we untwist it and then we work it down the hair strand, and by the time it gets to the bottom, sometimes we leave the end straight, sometimes we don't. However, this leaves the middle of the section flat, so it doesn't leave a very big open bouncy volume curl. What it does is it creates a flatter root, and when you're taking that curling iron and you're forcing that hair into its circular position, then you flatten it out. What you're actually doing is cooling the middle of the hair, so you're cooling it flatter. So it gives kind of a really done beached wave look when it's done. So again, we usually insert the hair in the middle of the strand into the iron, roll it around, untwist, and this can be done with any size iron, and we're usually using vertical sections. And as it cools the middle of that strand, it creates a flatter curl. So the result is something that isn't real bouncy or voluminous, but it gives a really nice beachy wave. It looks beautiful, of course, with blonding, but it gives a little bit of a different look than the other 2 styles of curls I'm going to show you here. And these could be just worked out with your fingers. You could be combed, a brush. You could put a little spray texture on there. The next one I'm going to show you is one of my favorites, and it's the coil, and it gives like a coil look around the heat tongs, whether you use a curling iron that's like this where it's open, or you use a barrel iron when it's closed, or you use a wand. What this is it gives a little bit of volume at the root, but it also coils it instead of makes a flat wrap. You're going to see here. So I'll take another section. The section is about the size of a rectangle. It's like not exactly a square, but more of a rectangular, but I'm going to lift that at the root. I'm going to wrap it around at the base, and then I'm going to actually let my hand just naturally coil and wrap that around. It's not a flat wrap. This coils around and it turns as you take it around the rod. So when I take it out, I let it drop, I let it cool for a minute or a few seconds, then I let it sit there and cool completely. When I'm teaching my guests how to do this, I show them that we come across the top of the head, we're pointing the iron down towards the floor, we're coiling, we're letting that wrap around the barrel the way it naturally would coil around. We're going to wait a few seconds until it's done, and then we're going to let it out, hold it in our hands for a second while it cools a little bit, and then keep it up there so it can spring cool. So these are more springy curls. They're springy. This is also a way that you can do glam waves. When you're doing them all in the same direction and then you comb them out, you have beautiful, beautiful glam waves. You can finish with Redken's Texture Spray number 15. And this is a beautiful way. You can also just do it with your fingers and let the coils be wild and free with hairspray. But in this case, I combed them out so you can kind of see the waves that it takes. Again, going all in the same direction with these. The last one I want to show you, which is really common also, this is a flat wrap. So this is a flat wrap. It's not an untwist and it's not a coil. This is just a flat wrap. This is also something we commonly see in the salon, but you have to understand what the differences are so you know what effect to create in your final look. So this is one where you're going to take the iron, whether you use a Marcel or a regular thumb spring iron. What you're going to do is generally what we see is we're coming as hairstylists, coming in over the top, and you're just flat wrapping it around the barrel. So it's flat wrapping, you're going all the way in, and it creates like a barrel curl, so to speak, but it is a flat looking curl. This is something we commonly would do with bridal parties, but just notice the difference in the finish. So this has a flat root, it has an open curl looking, it gives a little bit more volume. And when we go in against each other, one in one direction, one in another direction, they may be a little bit more messy or beach wavy looking, and you can choose to do the ends or not do the ends. But a flat wrap in general gives a bigger open curl and has a little bit more of a longer lasting hold. What I'll show you here at the end. So we'll go in, we're going to flatten it around the barrel. It is not twisted. We are not untwisting. We're leaving it on the barrel to heat up, almost similar to how a roller would work. So here you have the open curls, and when you comb them out and brush them, they're not quite as neat as the other kind, but they do give you more volume and more fluffiness for somebody who wants like bigger curls or bigger hair. That's the third kind. Try all three and let me know what you think.